Hello everyone, it's Whoopi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are looking at my 2023 faves, so without further ado, let's just get into it. For anyone who's not been here when I've done a faves video before, I basically have just split my favourites into categories and things that I've experienced this year, and I want to share them with everyone. And in terms of music and films and books, I want to recommend them to you guys because, you know, we're a healing and learning community. And on that note, I will talk about my favourite movies. Now, I watched a lot of movies this year. I went to see The Whale. I even went to see the newest Transformers film. Anyways, which was kind of fun, to be honest. It was better than I expected. But of all the films, I think there was just a few that really stood out to me. Firstly, Barbie. Barbie was not only a pop culture moment, it was genuinely part of a really defining point of my life, which makes it sound so dramatic, but it's actually really not that dramatic. It's just a fact. I did Barbenheimer, but 2 months apart, because I'm a silly girl like that. I watched Oppenheimer first, and I watched Oppenheimer on opening day, and then I watched Barbie with my mum on National Cinema Day, which is early September, and it was as I was nearing the end of my uni degree. So it definitely was a defining time for me. I loved it. It just, if you're a woman, I think you really understand what Barbie did for the girlies. And I really hope that any of the boys and the men who went to see this, I really hope it just gave you an insight of what our minds are like and what society is like towards women. The other movie that I think definitely took the cake was The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Hunger Games Nation Rise. Rise. As a book girly, this was for us, and I will say this and I will stand by this, and I've always stood by this. The Hunger Games franchise was the best book to movie young adult adaptation I've ever seen, and I watched them all and I've read them all. So as a veteran, yeah, I think what I said is true. Other veterans, please agree. And it's also actually one of the books that I read this year, and Suzanne Collins' baby. Sorry, ma'am, I missed your writing so much. I'm genuinely so glad that I waited to read it until this year, because I remember when it came out, I was in two minds about it. I was like, I don't know if I want to re-enter that world and then be disappointed, or maybe I just don't want to go back into that world because I will just get obsessed. And I got obsessed, you guessed it. It's so good, and I love that Francis Lawrence got to do this as well. I love the whole new cast. They did their parts perfectly, and I wish them nothing but success. And for all the people who were like, oh, they're singing? Yeah, Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes is in the title. Ballads. It's a musical. Yeah, I would recommend it. I also kind of want to watch it again. That leads us nicely into books. So these aren't necessarily the favourite books I've read. These are just the books I've read this year. I mentioned Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes already. That was the second to last book I've read this year. So I want to go from the beginning. So if we go from like January, February, I was reading Love and Colour, which is a collection of short stories by Bolu Babalola. I loved it. I want to recommend it to everyone. If you want a little bit of mythology and a bit of love in your life, take this book. Oh my gosh, the one that took the longest to read was June. Is it June or Dune? I never know, but it's by Frank Herbert. I went to watch the first Dune when it came out back in November 2021, I think it was. Or was it October? I don't know. Either way, I was sat in the cinema and I had to sit in silence for like 5-10 minutes after until the credits finished. Like, I was that. And I said, I need the next one tomorrow. Obviously, movies take years to make sometimes, and I respect it because I want to see a masterpiece. So I've just been patiently waiting. And then with the strike, I had to wait an extra bit of time, but you know what? It's going to be worth it. And in that time, I managed to read the whole book and I could not stop thinking about it. And genuinely, to this day, I think about it at least once a week. So I think that if you have patience and if you like a challenge, definitely read Dune. I think the first bit of the book is slow. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while, but once I was in it, I was locked in. I then read Open Water by Caleb Azuma Nelson. I just feel like He didn't know I was going to read it, but he made it for me. And that's all I'm going to say. And it was also very interestingly written in second person narrative. Also, I forgot to mention another book that I'm still reading. I technically still have 2 days of 2023 left. And that is Who Are You Following by Sadie Robertson Huff. It's just been a very good book for me to just keep perspective on how I use social media, because I'm an overthinker and sometimes it's not good to be on social media like that. Favourite months: June, January. January, very interesting that it was my favourite, because I usually don't have my birthday month as a favourite, but I don't know, this January was a bit different. I had a lot of fun experiences in January and I thought, wow, life can be fun. You know, sometimes I don't want to, like, you know, not be here. And June, June, that's what I'm going to say about June. Anyways, similarly to the books, I went to many concerts this year, and we actually, thank God, and if they were not concerts, it was like a music festival. Thank God, because music keeps me alive. I mean, God keeps me alive, but music, she meant to win, do you know what I mean? We're gonna go in chronological order. So I went to see the 1975 Gem, love you. She was very unwell and she gave up her ticket for me, which was really sweet of her. I haven't seen the boys in like 8 years or something, so it was just a very much full circle moment for me, because I was like, I saw you when I was entering teenage years and now I'm entering like mid-20s. Scary. Maisie Peters, yes. I also find it crazy how I met her 2 years ago, but then I've only just been able to see her live this year. Make it make sense. I got to wear my cowgirl hat, so that was amazing. I went to Big Church Day. I think they call it Big Church Festival now. It used to be Big Church Day Out, but it's Big Church Festival. There were so many amazing acts. I got to see Sam Henshaw. That man is fire. I also got to meet Anatolia, and I was like, girl, see you at the top, baby. She was so sweet, and I wish her nothing but the best. I got to go to Love Supreme once again, which is this lovely like jazz, R&B and soul festival. Oof, that was so fun. Then literally a week later I went to see Adam Melcher. I got to meet the man, the myth, the legend himself, and that was such a beautiful time for me. I also went to see Alex Page, and her support act was Jake Minch. Yes, if you follow me on Instagram, you know what Jake Minch's music means to me, because I just don't shut up about it. I'm sorry, I can't help it. And I got to tell him that his music is good and everything, and he's just an anxious little being like me, and it just made me feel my heart. I just wanted to squeeze him, you know. And lastly, I saw Tiny Habits. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you know, I just, no words.